It's the economic center of Australia. The dynamic city of Sydney does not seem to be the odd one out in terms of environment protection. Located right on the coast, the city should become the victim of ever-increasing climate change hazards in the not-so-distant future. Are there any alternatives to the bleak prediction? David Alexander, a research scientist for an environmental NGO, takes stock of the alarming situation.
Hello, welcome to the Climate Council. Come on in.
Sydney is on the front line to climate change impacts. So we know in the future that Sydney is going to experience hotter, more frequent and lasting heat waves. Sea level is going to rise on the order of 0.6 to 0.7 metres by the end of the century. We also know that severe thunderstorm days are going to increase in this city by 30%. We're one of the worst polluters in the world. In fact, we are the worst per capita.
To deal with the threats, the sustainability choice seems to be the prevailing one. Still, is it a luxury that citizens can actually afford?
Oh, sustainability absolutely underpins society. And we actually see with something which is very environmentally sustainable, like wind power or solar power, actually is cheaper than, for example, dirty, old, polluting fossil fuels. So we can actually have a very sustainable society which actually has a lot of health benefits, economic benefits, and lifestyle benefits for everyone.
Saving money while acting to protect the environment. This is the bet that a growing number of Sydney-siders took, like Michael Mobbs. Living in the city centre in an ordinary house, he changed his lifestyle dramatically to get an entire sustainable lifestyle. And it works. He now organizes tours in order to incite other people to take the plunge.
Things are changing. If I left what I was doing, I used to be a lawyer.
Solar panels, rainwater system, or recycling water pump. All these simple devices enable him to reduce significantly his bills.
But we're using less energy, so the house was using 26 kilowatts, which is pretty typical for a four-person household. After the renovation, it went down to about 10, which is pretty good. You know, bigger kitchen and bathroom. But
and to also have a much more healthy consumption.
I'll tell you something about Sydney Water. Sydney Water is the 20th biggest greenhouse polluter because pumping all that stuff around takes huge amounts of energy. We have twice the level of chlorination in our water here, and when we tested the water here, even after we'd added town water to it, my hydrocarbons were about 40 or 70, and Sydney Water gets about 500 to 700.
Gathered around a 100% local meal, visitors are sharing the experiences and are talking about existing alternatives.
Amazing the amount of things that you can actually make yourself. And people say, it takes so much time, but actually that's working in the solar industry for the past 5 years now, so both in Europe and in Australia. I was actually expecting to see way more solar when I came over here. But I've seen definitely an increase in solar systems, especially big commercial systems as well. And yeah, I'm passionate about solar. I think it's the future. I wouldn't work in any other industry. We should all have a solar system if we own a roof, that's for sure.
It's clear. It's thanks to very local initiative that the city could flourish and show its most beautiful colors. And if all Sydney-siders should follow their examples, they can first start with simple steps. Like this one.